What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Seven Figure Flipping Podcast. You'll notice I'm sitting in a different location today. I am actually at our Spring Hill office. Really excited to be here. I'm sitting in the office, Spring Hill, Seven Figure Flipping headquarters, because we're launching our first ever seven-figure meetups, which are going to be come nationwide with the members from our community. We're testing the very first one this evening, which by the time you're listening to this, it'll be too late. You can't come to this one, but make sure you're on the lookout for those in the future. Today I have my favorite guest co-host with me. Not really a guest, she's full-on co-host with me. Dr. Sheri Llewellyn. She's amazing because she's going to make you think. And we do the bottom line episode where, it's real stories meet real numbers, but we don't just talk about the data and the details, which is my favorite thing to talk about. We talk about the mental aspect of it too with Dr. Llewellyn. So let's get into it today. I have a quick share, a tactical share in real estate and what is working best right now from many, many conversations. Two things: the people who are making the most money and are profitable right now across the industry, and all the conversation I'm having are doing two things really, really well. Number one is they're able to buy houses. What that means is it's not just wholesaling. You can do some wholesaling to bring cash in fast, but they can actually buy the house and sell it and make money. The second thing that they're doing is they're buying with future in mind, meaning, hey, if the market is decreasing 1% per month or whatever your market's doing, you're actually tracking the data, you're future-proofing your exit price to make sure you're priced so well on the exit that you're going to make a bunch of money. And if you're super conservative and you end up doing way better because you were too conservative, well, then you'll just make more money. Now, the downside to that is, well, Adam, it's hard to get deals. Yeah, it is hard to get deals. If you're only buying from wholesalers, if you're only buying from the MLS, then you probably need to start considering direct-to-seller marketing and go source your own deals. That's kind of the bottom line. There's only so many solutions. This business is simple. And that's the bottom line. How about that? How about
the
that?
Bottom line of the bottom line.
There's a bottom line of that bottom line. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. What do you think about that, Sheri? Because you guys got flips live. You got some going well and some going not well, I'm sure, like everybody.
Yeah. One of the things that we definitely realized a number of months ago is just depending on wholesalers was keeping our business erratic. We couldn't really predict. And so we did start going direct to seller with letters and mail and all of that stuff. And it's been up and down, but we're about 5 months in and we're starting to actually see some things land. And get this, my husband got so he's an agent, a broker. He got a call a couple weeks ago from somebody that found him through ChatGPT. Have you ever heard that? We got a lead. We got a lead through ChatGPT.
Can you tell me how that happened?
Yeah. So we recently moved locations. So my husband, he's trying to generate some leads as a real estate broker here in the new location. So he's updating all of his socials and his lead sources. So like Zillow and Realtor and those different things, updating and refreshing his profile. And he's been taking an AI based class or a class about how to use AI, improve the use of AI as a realtor. And so he was updating his profiles based on the recommendations of this class. And so when there was a local investor here who used ChatGPT and his prompt, from what I told my husband, was something to the effect of, I'm looking for a real estate agent that's really savvy to work with investors because yada, yada, yada. My husband's name
This is so good. This is so good. Okay, so can I tell you a secret?
Please.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a serious secret. I have an SEO company, search engine optimization company, right?
Yes.
So this is like, I'm trying to get website leads, organic website leads. I pay them $17.50 a month to do my SEO. It's called Digital Spark. That's who I use. But I have a Blackjack real estate. So if you go to blackjackre.com, you can see what my site looks like. Check it out, whatever. Well, I opened up the Georgia market to do more flips in Georgia. And I took my SEO folks and I said, I only want to I want to kill all the old stuff. Let's build a Sell House Fast Georgia website. So I bought the domain. I built this whole website, but let's optimize it for AI search.
Yes.
All for AI search. So you can go to, I think, let me tell you, and you can look at this, Sheri. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
I probably have not.
sellhousefastgeorgia.com. If you want to get into it and try to figure out how they're optimizing. And that's for any of you guys, because I just told the secret on there, how we're optimizing for AEO. We just launched, so I don't have a lot of good data for it yet, but I'm pretty excited because a lot, even in Google, at the top of Google, it's giving you the bottom line.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's all summarized right here with sources.
Absolutely.
So,
our marketing friend is.
And we're lazy. We're lazy. We're convenient. We're like, oh, yep, JP, that's the investor friendly agent. Let me call him.
Yeah. And so the cool thing is he was called because he's an agent. However, we're actually going to be buying, we have this property under contract. It was a property that this guy got under contract. It was a foreclosure. And so this might be our most profitable deal. It's a luxury market house. It's going to be a.
What state, which market?
In Springfield.
Is this Missouri?
Yeah, this is in Missouri.
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm
really
so
exciting.
excited. And it's only a mile and a half from our personal house. So it's I'm so excited. It's a beautiful house, 2-story brick fireplace. I'm going to do some really top notch, well budgeted stuff to this house because that's kind of the market.
Obviously not beyond the comps, but yes, you will.
Correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that was just a super cool and completely unexpected opportunity.
Yeah, and let me also highlight something that you said, because you're 5 months into direct mail, and results don't necessarily come quick with direct mail, because it's bringing people shuffling them into your system and into your world, and it's starting the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, for direct mail in general, their intent is higher because they are literally taking the time to take the piece of mail, call the phone number and say, oh, let me see what my options are. So I love those leads, but you still have to nurture.
Yeah.
You still have to figure out what their problem is and solve it. You still have to follow up with them 7 to 12 times before you ink the deal. It's no different than anything else. But the beauty of it, she talked about, she's been doing it for 5 months. Things are starting to hit. And then things start to stack. But you can't look myopically over even a month. A quarter is the minimum you can look through. And really, you want to look at 6 and 12-month type data. Because when you look at your data over time, I have 10 years of our company data that I can literally launch a campaign and predict how it will perform anywhere. I'm launching $30,000 a month of direct mail in Georgia super confidently. I just know what it's going to produce. It's going to produce exactly what I want it to produce, which is 40 flips that make me at least $40,000 each in 2026.
That's awesome.
Like clockwork.
Yeah. That's great.
So you said those things that I'm just really proud to hear you say, look, the traction's starting to hit, starting to stack up, the conversations are stacking up, the right conversations are stacking up. And you're 5 months into it. So so many people give up on their marketing, their branding, way too fast, and they're not consistent enough. And that's why most people are just either yo-yo up and down, or they yo-yo up and down and then they're out of the industry.
Yeah. And if they want to yo-yo up and out of the industry, that's fine with me. But our listeners, Our listeners, we don't want you guys to yo-yo. We want you to be smarter and to do things better, which is why you're listening to podcasts. I had a conversation. I had a potential investor reach out to me a couple weeks ago who is in the Springfield market. And he super young guy. He reached out to me and was like, hey, could I ask you a couple of questions? Right. And I ended up meeting him over coffee. It was a great conversation. It filled me up because it was just purely an opportunity to mentor somebody just for an hour and to give them a little bit of a motivating speak. And and he lost motivation because it got hard. He was working with a wholesaler for a period of time. And so we know that there are constantly challenges and things that if we let them get to us will discourage us and dissuade us from ever investing again or moving and doing something else. But that's just starting over, starting fresh, and it's a whole new learning curve. So we want our investors in the 7-figure flipping community and those around us to weather the storms and to be better for it.
I mean, Dan Coleman said this. Dan Coleman, our business coach, said this to me one time. He's like, you have business problems because you have a business. Like that, you're blessed. Like this is the game. Like this is what you're signing up for as an entrepreneur. And like you're just learning how to live in this world and optimize and create consistency. How do I make my business consistent? And I talked about something with our runway community. This is the last thing I'll say on the tactical side, Sheri, and then I really want to get some mindset stuff with you. What are real metrics you should be tracking in your business? And if you're brand new, if you're brand new and you're starting out, the only thing I want you to do is go make $250,000. It's very easy to do. That's all I want you to do. Don't talk. The only thing you should do is go make $250,000 as fast as you possibly can. Now, don't go spend $225,000 in marketing to make $250,000. Okay, let's do it a little more efficiently than that. But I really, really want to see a newbie go make $250K quick, as quick as possible. Then for people like you and our L2 community and everybody else, you really should be tracking 3 things, but I'll talk about 2 that I mentioned to some folks on one of our calls recently. And it's NSOC. And Morgan, you can beep it out, but it's no owner's compensation, meaning money you sent from your business to your personal bank account. Not like you spent out of your business account, like many entrepreneurs do, just living out of their business. That's cool. I get it. But NSOC means you send it from your business to your personal account and your net worth. Like I want you to track those 2 things. I want you to track them on a monthly basis. That to me, that's like, okay, we get what we're doing. Like, why are we doing what we're doing? We have to produce those 2 things, right? That take care of self first. And then let's, do more big, greater impact type things. But I see a lot of people not tracking NSOC very well. It's a new one I made yesterday, Sheri. So
a new acronym. The NSOC.
Yeah. The NSOC.
Yeah.
No shit owner's compensation.
Yeah. Love it. All right.
Bill, I'm in Bill's office. Bill Allen doesn't cuss. I grew up in Detroit, guys. I'm a little grittier. I'm sorry. I try to be better. That's why I love Bill and you guys. Like you guys push me to be better, but I got to say some, I got to be me sometimes,
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What I do to bring is based on conversations that I have with investors who have a whole life before they start investing, and they put their foot in the investing world, and then they start feeling inadequate, unprepared, and that maybe they're making a mistake. And one of the most significant errors that I see new investors doing is they don't give themselves credit for all of the life experience, their knowledge, all of the skills and abilities they have that they learned in whatever else they've been doing, their other career or prior career or whatever that looks like, they aren't explicitly thinking through how to harness that into their identity and their work as an investor. So I want, just for the next 5 minutes or so, all of our listeners to think about what are all the things that they have done, they're good at, their skills, their giftedness that they have in these other areas and domains of their life, and how can they intentionally harness that as an investor. Now, this is something that I myself did and still do, because it's not like something you do once and you forget about. But I wanted to speak a little bit about my experience just as an example. So I am a psychologist. I went to school for way more years than most people want to after high school. And I got a PhD, and I lived the life of a psychologist, a full-time psychologist, for about 13 years before I gave that up and shifted full-time into real estate investing. And when I say gave it up, it's not 100%. Like, I still use it all the time and still do some work in there, but in a very different capacity. And I've had a lot of people like, what are you doing? Like, the why not? Like, you just wasted 10 years of grad school and a 10-year career and, a business. Like, they don't understand. And so internally, I had to deal with that. Like, what am I doing? And
like, is it waste? Is it waste? Do you feel like it's wasteful?
No, absolutely not. And that's the point that, of this, is that none of that was a waste. I always look at life. I never know what the next step is going to be. None of us do. I mean, as much as we can plan and all of that, we never know what's going to happen in the next moment. But I do have an unwavering belief that God uses all of our experiences, our life circumstances, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it shapes us and molds us into who we are today.
Yeah.
Which gives us an opportunity that we wouldn't have had otherwise, because we are different today because of all of those things. And so there's three things, again, using myself as an example, there's three ways in way I see that I am uniquely able to bring my background as a psychologist into my work as an investor. And again, I'm just going to share those three things quick, just so that you can start thinking about your prior career. Adam, you were in the military, you were an intelligence officer, and I no doubt see your specialization in being able to analyze data coming out in all the time, how much you hammer on data as an investor. Like, that's because you were shaped in such fashion through your career.
Yeah, especially intelligence, right? Like, I have to prove that this bad thing is happening, therefore we need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Through all these different like pieces of data that mean something, and my job is to collect those pieces of data with my whole smart analytics team and go, what does this mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I do in real estate, and I love that stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
you got me right on.
Yeah. And so in the military, you have to justify that drone strike that may kill civilians based on you're not there, you've never seen it, you maybe have never even been to the country, but you have all these data points that you have to then use to justify this very significant decision that you have to make. So
I was literally thinking that exact situation, but I wasn't going to say it.
Okay.
You said it though, the drone strike where I put in target packages together to drop multi-million-dollar munitions all over God's green earth.
Yes. Yep. Okay. There is an example, a great example of why Adam is so successful in what he does is because he is literally harnessing his skills and abilities. One of the things, so as a psychologist, trained in school and then trained in the real world on how to understand human behavior. And one of the ways this benefits me is I can connect really, really well with people, and they tend to open up to me about things that just shock other people. Like there's not a conversation about a topic that I have never had with somebody before. Seriously, it's gotten weird. But I'm super comfortable in those conversations. They don't freak me out. I mirror body language. So when I meet with people, if they are laid back and a little bit slower, then I go laid back and a little bit slower, because there is something called mirror neurons that we tend to reflect other people. And if we are like them, there is this bias that happens that they tend to like us better because they remind us of them. But this is all a subconscious type of process that happens. So understanding that and going into human interactions, whether it's with a seller or with a contractor or with a potential partner investor or private money lender, like these are all things that have served me very well. And especially with sellers, I don't love dropping bombs of like, hey, I'll pay $30,000 for your house, when they're thinking like 80, 100, 120, 100, whatever. Like I don't love those situations. But when I get uncomfortable, I am trained to not over talk. I can say what I need to say and sit back, and I'm okay with silence. I have to be, as a psychologist, as a therapist. And so that has served me well in how I interact with people. I don't have this incessant need to like, I'm uncomfortable, I must talk. And I know a lot of people do. I see it. It's super interesting. So
this is like my favorite thing that you're talking about. This is so cool because I literally was like I'm like not even kidding, praying like, who do I need to become? Like, what is the next thing for me? Like, who do I need to become to achieve what I'm hoping to achieve? Like, what is it? Who am I becoming? And all these evolutions, like, my wife Jenny and I talk about this. Like I got selected to go from enlisted to officer, which was like a big deal, and there was going to be some suffering in my family because of that, because of a commitment that I was making to do something that was going to be uncomfortable for Jenny and us having our first kid. And I said, but look, when I retire, I'm going to get a job with the United States government, either probably at the CIA or the NSA. I'm going to do intelligence work forever. I'm going to have this top secret clearance. I'm going to be worth all this money. And then like, Sheri, I'm here with you. You know what I mean? Like, we're just crazy. We're like, well, but there's so much more out there we could do, so much more impact we can make. But I needed all that military experience to make me good at what I'm doing now. Like, I don't feel like it was a waste.
Not at all.
I mean, Jenny felt a little kind of way about it. She's like, well, I just envisioned something different. I'm like, I know, but like, let's love what we have today. This is amazing, isn't it? And she's like, oh, well, of course it is. Yeah. But I had to become, I needed those things to become this version. And at each level, I can just tell you, like, I feel like what you're speaking to me is like, you're getting these experience and these things in your life, so they're happening for you, and you're becoming somebody. And at each phase, you're called to do something. You have to become something else. And there's like science behind this, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. And you said a little phrase that I want to call out because I love it. You said, this is happening for you. And a lot of times we think about the situations in our life as happening to us. But if we can reframe them, it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. It completely shifts our perspective on the potential that whatever scenario can have in our life. All right.
I love it.
Yeah. So a couple other things quick. Through my training, because I will tell you, and I tell people this all the time, I came out of the womb. I kind of think a little bit narcissistic. Seriously, and of course, it may have been some social training and all of that sort of stuff, but I can think back when I was younger, still in grade school and high school, and I was very judgmental. And
what does it mean to be a narcissist? What does that mean?
Okay, so let me use the term in just general language, not as a clinical diagnosis. In general language, being a narcissist is basically kind of like you're thinking that you're a little bit better than other people. You think that you're special, that you deserve something a little bit extra special, not necessarily because you've worked and earned it, but just because of who you are, you're a little bit special. You're a special butterfly. You're a unicorn that people should appreciate.
Special snowflake.
Exactly. And so that is my perspective, because I can think back to how I viewed people back then. But through all the schooling and experience I've had, I think the main thing that helped me shift out of that was being let into people's stories, and really understanding the pain that people experience and how that changes them and how that results in who they are. My empathic button is huge. So what that also means is that I've been able to develop a high level of emotional intelligence, which is critical for success in life. And if you look at research, there's so many research studies. Emotional intelligence is about a 30-year-old idea, and it's gotten a lot of traction in the psychological research. And most of the research is showing that emotional intelligence is a stronger predictor of success, even in business, than general intelligence, which is the fancy term for your IQ. And I do.
Well, why do you think that is? Why would that be?
Well,
why would that be more important than
yes.
general intelligence?
Yeah. So first of all, let's quickly describe emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is basically, it's being able to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions. So that's the half of it. The other half of it then is being able to recognize. So with Adam, if I can recognize Adam's emotions, I can understand them the best I can, and then I can work to influence his emotions. So think about it like a Venn diagram. You've got, here's me and all of my emotions. Here's Adam, all of his emotions. And then there's that intersection, right? That intersection, if we successfully navigate that's where emotional intelligence lives. So when I'm in a situation, I got my stuff going on, he's got his stuff going on. If I'm only reacting to him based on what's going on inside me, I'm completely missing lots of opportunities. And so in business specifically, all of the soft skills that used to not be paid attention to in leadership development are really, really important. How I communicate what I communicate can sometimes be more important than what I communicate. My kids remind me of this on a weekly basis.
Wait, hold on. I want to hear that one more time. So how I say it is sometimes more important than what I say.
Yeah. Because it's like delivering, if you were to give a wedding ring or like a diamond ring to somebody, that's pretty amazing. But if you wrap it in poop, who's going to want to open it?
Right.
So that, how you deliver it is everything to how it's actually received. And it's tone of voice, it's body language, it's how you phrase things. All of this stuff is what sets the stage for.
I think you did this. You did this to me once. I was driving home from my office, and you called me to tell me about my performance on the podcast. The way you set the stage, of course, like you didn't just call him and say, Adam, you're like kind of a boring data dry guy. Like I need a little more oomph out of you. You know, that's basically what you told me. But I think the question you led with was, hey, are you open to some feedback? Like you like got permission to basically have the conversation, which is just so smart, you know, because then it's like, yeah, of course, like good or bad, because I just told you yes. It doesn't really matter now.
Yeah.
And I remember like, or it was something of that variation you like kind of said. And I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then we could just go on whatever we needed to go on.
Absolutely. And that is part of understanding, asking permission. And of course, how generalizable is that into how we work with sellers? With intuitive sales, a lot of it is, asking permission. Well, can I share with you where I'm thinking based on all of these things? And of course, then they're giving you, yes, please tell me how much you'll pay. Like that's part of the process. And
Yeah.
yeah. And so the emotional intelligence part is, how can I effectively interact with Adam if I got a whole lot of stuff going on internally that I can't even deal with? We all can think of that completely over the top, emotionally messy person that we just don't really want to be around a lot, because it's like a bull in a china shop and they have no idea that they're in a china shop. And so the more that we can be not that, but be in control of ourselves and able to influence.
How do we if I'm a highly emotional person,
Yes.
how do I regulate? How do I get to, center? How do I get there? Like I'm always at center. Like this is a superpower of mine personally. Like emotionally, I'm almost always at center.
Yeah.
I'm never really high. I don't really get high highs. I don't get low lows. It's very uncommon for me. But I know I have friends like who are like some of the best entrepreneurs and visionaries that I know, but they're like high emotion.
Yes.
Like
And a lot
little
of that,
things are like really high. So how do they get to center?
absolutely. First of all, let me say, if you're high emotions, those that are listening, high and low and all, I don't want you to feel like you are wrong.
Not bad or good. Not
no,
bad or good.
No. I will never tell you you should be like Adam. He is a special breed, and
don't be like Adam. We can do 4 hours on all my flaws. Okay, don't be like Adam.
What is helpful is to be aware and be able to make decisions. So I'm going to give you an example. For myself, this is one of the, I don't know why, but this sticks out in my mind as one of those moments where I was emotional and I had enough emotional intelligence to decide to still be emotional, if that makes sense. So here's the scenario. Rewind, we're about 10 years ago, and I owned a mental health practice. I'm in my weekly staff meeting. I've got about 13 other therapists in there who work for me. I had 3 other staff members, billing manager and receptionist and stuff like that. And I had my clinical director there as well. And I'm talking about how there was something that was happening in the practice that was going wrong. And I was frustrated. And I'm talking in the staff meeting and I start crying. And in my mind, I'm like, part of me is like, this is not the type of leadership that I want to have, because I like to be visibly in control, but I wasn't. Like I was crying. But in that moment,
you were unhappy with results or the way we were, like something just wasn't happening the way you felt it should, and you were trying to get a breakthrough with your team.
Yes, and it wasn't. I find that I don't tend to shed tears because I'm sad. In this way, I tend to really feel that emotion well up when I'm frustrated and I don't have a solution. So the frustration is where that emotion sometimes just bloop, comes out. But in that moment, I remember being like, oh, I had this like conversation in my mind, like, oh crap, Sheri, you're crying and you're in a staff meeting. Like, what are they going to think of you? But then the other part of me is reminded, it's like, and helping people see how I feel about what's going on, being the leader that's willing to be vulnerable and to be real, that doesn't just try to cover up what's going on, but is like exposing what's going on and being real about it. That is the kind of leader I want to be. So it was in that moment, as I'm crying and as I'm talking, the emotional intelligence, like that's an example of when that played out is I had a decision to make. I could have been like, stuff it down and try to muscle through it and or just roll with it and still, still go on, which is what we ended up doing. But so I say that to mean that
I bet that achieved a better effect with your team than the stuffy boss coming in going, we still suck at the thing that we suck at, and next week it better be better. Like,
right.
cool. That's clearly not working.
Yeah.
When you're like, guys, I don't have an answer. Like, I'm literally crying. Like, please, like, let's figure this out and make this thing better. Like, stat.
So
and then it pulls them in. Like, they want, like, I would want to help you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to help her. Like,
right.
What can I do? How can I help?
Right. So emotions are not wrong. Emotions are God-given. And being emotionally intelligent and being able to manage your emotions doesn't mean that people don't see them. I just really, really, really want to make that clear.
Yeah. No, and nothing's good or bad. It's kind of, we do a lot of this personality profile stuff too. Like, there's no good or bad person, like, profile. It just is what it is. You need to know it and understand it and have awareness so that you can use the right tools with the right people.
Yeah.
And I think this is really cool. You gave very like one-to-one examples, like talking to sellers and things like that. But as I've grown businesses, and I know you've done this in your practice now in your real estate business too. You have people, you work with people every day. I have all these people that are counting on me as a leader to do different things. And my job is to get the best out of them. How can I get the best version of that person? And I can't do that by using the same, like, I can't do with one person what I do with another and get the same result. Like, if I'm working with Lindsay and I want to push Lindsay, like, I'm going to be hard. I'm going to be direct and like, this result's not good. And do you feel like this is acceptable? Like be very hard. And she will be mad at me in the moment. And then we will just have incredible results, like, almost immediately. But other people, I'm going to be softer with and how can I help you be the best version of yourself? How can we win together? And I think just like seeing what works for people is that is emotional intelligence that makes leaders really, really powerful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's what allows you to get the best out of people. And by the way, there is no business without people. Like, there's no business. Amazon has hundreds of thousands of employees. Apple, I mean, every single business is built on the back of people, period. Now, you may be a new entrepreneur in real estate thinking, I'm a one-person show, or you may have just hired your first virtual assistant. But your job early is to get tactical, get your hands dirty, but along the way, you have to learn how to work best and get the most out of people, period.
Yeah.
That is the number one skill that a CEO must have.
Yeah.
How do I get the most out of my people? How do I serve them at the highest possible level?
Yeah. And it's a two-way street. So when you say, how do I get the most out of my people? It's, I know you're not saying that in a, I'm using them kind of way. It is a collaborative. How do I help them achieve what they want to achieve under the umbrella and in concert with what we're all achieving? So it's really an alignment. And
totally.
Absolutely.
I want to get the best version. I want to help them be their best version of themselves.
So then the company can be the best version of itself because everybody underneath and within it are being the best version. Like that is the optimal business.
Yeah. And it's all people. And just to your point of like, I'm like data, business, KPIs, numbers, but it's all built on people.
Yeah.
Like, that's why emotional intelligence is such a better predictor. If you go look at the studies, like you said, there's plenty of literature. It's a better predictor than just general intelligence.
Yeah.
Because it's built on people. Even if you're just a like one person house flipper, your ability to navigate contractors, if you suck with people, I'll get a better result than you, and I don't even know how to change the light bulb because I know how to work with people. It's just, I mean, it's that important, you know?
It is. It is. We have a full-time administrative assistant. I even hate to use the term she, just because I feel like it undervalues all of the stuff she does. She's our property manager for all of our rentals. She's our project manager. She manages the flips, making sure that all the little, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And one of the values that I think neither of us realized she had until she was in this role and started to really own the role is she gets people to do things that contractors, roofers, like she knows how, and our tenants. In fact, we had a seller, we bought a property in Colorado Springs about 4 weeks ago, maybe now. And the seller didn't move out. He had like a 5-day post occupancy, but then he was like, oh, well, I didn't really tell anybody, but I kind of was wanting just to buy it back, but I don't have money. And it was just this whole thing. And so we were stuck with this like seller. Do we try to evict him? Like, how long is that going to take? What does that process look like? How do we figure this out? Well, because it's kind of her role to be interacting with our tenants and different things like that. End of the story is we were able to get him out after 3 weeks of him being in the house. But he left amicably and he actually paid us rent for the time that he was there. So
soft skills, people skills.
Soft skills, so important. So important.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Wow, this is maybe like my best. I feel like I said this last time we did this because you dropped so many like, oh my gosh, that is like so good. It's hitting me. But I am what you're saying today, like the emotional intelligence, the soft skills, like those really do become at different points in your business. That becomes everything. Your ability to take a collective group of humans and get them to move in a singular direction and operate optimally in a collaborative way, like that's really hard to do, actually.
It is actually very hard to do.
And that is what makes the difference. Like, how do you make that grow? And it's not by you. It's not like if you're trying to meaningfully grow something, I'm thinking like big, right? Like I can't do it without a team. And I can't, I have to, like Jeff Bezos, like grew Amazon to a point, and then there's a bunch of 7-figure leaders in that company that then just kept expanding it. And you can never really do it all yourself. And I think that's the challenge of like figuring out when to bring in people and how to lead them the best way possible. And I say how to get the most out of them. I don't mean like, how do I suck the most out of them? I mean, how do I get them to be the best version of themselves?
Yeah.
How do I get them to just, like how do I improve their skill sets, their mindsets, their understanding of something? Half the time as the boss, the biggest problem we have is we don't provide clarity. We leave too much ambiguity. And then we get in this like, well, I'm unclear. Well, I also need you to help me be clear. I don't know what I need all the time. So yeah, anyways, okay, let's go to the Ask Us Anything segment where I'm just like, this is so good, Sheri. Like I could go on this all day.
Hey, Adam, this is Jeff Jackson. My question is, how or what can be done in this business if you're under a credit restoration program and your credit score has tanked to a 458? So if you can help me answer that, I would be very interested in the response. Thanks so much. You have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you, Jeff. You are the man. It was Jeff Jackson, right? Yeah, the question from Jeff Jackson was, if I'm in disrepair, my credit is in disrepair, I'm working on restoration, but what can I do right now? Well, first off, we just did a really amazing podcast with Kadam Credit, podcast 829. It was about a week and a half ago from today, which is Friday when we're recording this. I'm sure this will be out next week. So in the last few podcasts, you'll see 829 Kadam Credit. Go listen to that because they have some very like specific things that you can do to improve your credit. But tactically, how do you do real estate without using any banks or loans at all? You go look for creative finance opportunities. And I get a kick out of this because people always want like, how do I do creative finance? Well, it's inherently creative. So there are a lot of ways you can do it. Now, there are definitely some ways you should not do it in terms of legal. And then you might go, then I'm unsure. I'm not experienced. How would I do it? Well, you're going to go work with a closing attorney who's done it before. And they're going to help you with paperwork and things like that so that you're doing it the right way. But honestly, it's creative finance deals. Like we've done at least 15 sub 2 deals this year. And sub 2 is when you buy a house, but you take over the mortgage subject. I buy the house subject to the existing mortgage staying in place for some period of time. And you could structure a thing. You could structure a deal so many different ways. You can structure a deal in an installment sale. You can do a subject to. You can do a seller carry. You can do a combination of a seller carry and a subject to deal. Like the banks never actually have to be involved. The lenders never have to be involved. Your credit never comes into play in those situations. So that's probably a whole nother tactical podcast on like how do we get into more creative deals if we're in like terrible credit and we're working on the repair. It's hard to get even the hard money loans right now. That's I think really heavy focus on creative finance. And I learned creative finance from Andy McFarland in our community. He has this he did a creative finance in-person like workshop in Utah years ago, and they recorded it. And I've watched it like probably 50 times. And to me, like that's how I learned it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is because there were so many different ways and different situations like that you could use this stuff. I was like, this is I can't even wrap my mind around this, but it took me a while. Now this year alone, we've done 15. So creative finance today is your solution. Do a deal, put a deal together with a seller that is going to involve zero of your credit being involved, which means you're not getting a hard money loan. Or the other option is you've got to raise private money. And you've got to have people, these are going to be people that you know, like, and trust in your warm network. They already know you. This is not going to be like strangers typically right out of the gate. This would be aunts, uncles, friends, former colleagues, things like that. And I don't know, maybe Sheri, I just dominated that, so I'm sorry. But
no, I loved it. And I'm going to bring a different angle to this.
Cool.
And that angle is a couple things. One is I want to know why you have a credit score that low. Because there's two things to address. One is there a lack of understanding on how money works? Was there something that got out of control that you didn't have a plan for? Like, why did that happen? And the reason that matters is because you don't want to get into that position again. And so I don't say that as a judgment against you, but rather this is an opportunity for you to make sure that whatever the scenario is, that you mitigate that, you learn from it, you understand it, you get more knowledge, experience, whatever is needed so that that doesn't happen again. Secondly, chances are there's a hit to your self-confidence and your self-concept. And so I think that is also going to need to be addressed. If I had that low of a credit and there was something that happened, I maybe got out of control with credit cards. I don't even know what happened, but it sure as heck would start to erode my self-confidence that I do know how to manage money well. And how am I ever going to ask somebody to be a private money lender to me if I can't even manage the money that I've had? That would be a script that would be going through my mind. And so again, it goes back to make sure that you are getting better. you are learning, you're working with somebody that can help you gain a better understanding, a better framework, a better business process, whatever that is. And then recognize the impact it may have had on your self-confidence in the investing game, and work on building that as you work on actually building your skill set. Because I don't love when investors ego outpaces their abilities. That's where we get in trouble. So we want to we want to keep our
risk. That's the risk. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we got to be careful. Like I say, raise private money. To your point, it's like, well, you've kind of proven something happened where you proved to the credit bureau that you weren't responsible with cash, capital, credit in some kind of way. There could be all kinds of crazy things like medical bills or
totally
stuff that could really tank your credit. That's really not necessarily your bad money management. So I do agree with that kind of part, but you're right. The more important thing to me is the confidence. That's where we get shaken, and we kind of it really just freezes us. But he's asking the question. So to me, he's like, I know this is like making me feel stuck, but what can I do? Like, okay, cool. That's the first step.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
And he's already taken steps in, working on repairing it and being in a program. So he's already taking the right steps. We just want to make sure that the whole person, the whole investor is being paid attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And I think we're going to takeaways. Number one takeaway. Did I say anything? Did I have any takeaways for you today? Did you get any takeaways from me?
I love that you remembered how I approached you on that phone call, which was the whole birthplace of me getting to be a co-host. And I just appreciate your willingness to accept feedback. And that is certainly not the only time that you have been open to feedback. You say it frequently in many different scenarios, but I think that is one of your strengths as a leader, that you are open to whatever feedback. You don't take it personal. You embrace the feedback and you figure out how to incorporate that so things can improve.
Yeah, my solution to being a dry, boring, like data guy. By the way, I'm a little, what's a good word for me? I'm a little gritty, a little rough around the edges normally, like compared to my peer as a like intelligence officer or military officer. Like, dude, I'm wearing shorts and flip-flops. Like, I'm going to probably drop an F-bomb if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Like, I'm not the cleanest guy, all right, or gal, but my solution to that, I'm boring, I'm not that exciting, is I get Sheri. I'm like, cool, Sheri, like, you're fun. Come on, and let's just like go back and forth, and you'll balance me out from my boringness.
Okay, guys, I really didn't make it sound. I didn't think I made it sound that bad.
You didn't. You didn't. But no, because you care, and you said we can do better. Like, and by the way, this podcast has got like we're 1.5 million views. Like, this is a really important thing that we do. Like, this podcast has impacted over 1 million people's lives.
That's incredible.
Like, think about that. Like, that's nuts. Like, what a cool opportunity we have just to be the stewards of it right now.
Yeah.
And it, at one point it was Justin Williams, and he did this I saw this video. He did this really cool thing where, if you guys don't remember Justin, many of you do, but if you don't remember Justin Williams, he was kind of like nutty. He's nuts. Like, he's the opposite of boring. He's like singing and making up songs, and he has like kids here, and they're opening up the podcast by singing this flipping song, but he's like calling flippers out too. He's like, you suck at flipping because you don't do what I told you to do. It's not hard. Like, do the thing, and it's like, he's just like this really gregarious, like big personality. And then it goes to Bill Allen, who's a technician, but also he's like a really good, he just like, he can hit you right in the soul, It's It's like he's almost talking directly to you on here. And then you get me, okay? You get me. And now you get Sheri at least, so we're up in the game a little bit.
We're trying to give more value across more domains.
Yeah, it's important. This was important stuff. And, people do literally over a lot of people listen to this podcast. This is one of the longest standing real estate podcasts on the market, period. Thanks for the takeaways. Amazing episode per usual. Guys, I just want to mention one thing. We have been doing this really cool training called the Flip Funding Challenge, where we're teaching people how to raise private capital. We've done thousands of people this year have come through that training. We're going to keep doing that, but we just added a new training that we're going to be doing called the Blackbox method. And it's all about how to generate leads for house flippers by spending no money. And what's really, really cool about this is people in our community have built their business literally from 0 flips to 20 flips a year only using this method. Literally insane, not spending $1 on direct to seller marketing. So we're going to put a link in the comments of how you could sign up for that training if you want to come to it. It's going to be 4 days long, and I'm expecting you to show up every day. And look, if you're not going to show up, don't sign up. That's what I will have to say to you, because the people who show up are the people who win. So you're either interested or you're committed. And I want to work with committed people. So I'm going to spend my time doing this training. And we literally charge pennies to come to it. It's like less than a meal. It's ridiculous. So if you're not going to show up, don't waste your time. But if you're committed and you actually want to learn something that I've helped other people make millions of dollars with, click the link, come to the training. I'd love to see you there. See you on the next show.